Nice hat.
Well, can't go by Weed, California without picking out a weed police.
We were at a winery this weekend, and it was Soul Stone. And when you joined the club, you got this hat that said Stoner's Club.
I was close.
Dude,
so close.
You need to add that to the wall. That should be just because it's
the
silly.
wall. And I should show you the wall of hats, but
You've seen the wall of hats.
not today. Not today.
There's always a different hat somewhere along the line. Okay,
I'm trying.
so Monday, here we are. We're gonna get into it.
So we're at 2:05.
You sure about that?
No. Or 2:10. Well, we'll do 2:05.
Do I hear 2:15?
No, that's way more advanced than 2:05. Okay, so last week we talked about what did we talk about last week?
Wow, you put me on the spot.
Yeah, just
I was not prepared for that question.
Really? What did you do yesterday?
What were we just talking about? That's the perfect
All
hat.
right. So last week we talked about love language and writing a list on your refrigerator and making sure that they are practical things. And you call it an expectation list, but I tend to shy away from the word expectations because there is someone that doesn't like to meet them.
But yet they're there, and I feel like I meet them. I think that is because it's what we expect out of a spouse. And if it's an unreasonable expectation, I think it's important to talk about it. But today, we're talking about something we've discussed before.
But today. And so, again, this whole series, the 200 series, listen to this. We're dropping the mic.
Oh, my word.
So the 200 series are basically practical, everyday things that you guys can do to transfer your marriage into a happier marriage. Transform would be the right word, not transfer. We're not transferring marriages around. You're with him. It's like the shell game.
It's not a swingers club.
Wow, you at the swingers club, and I was thinking
exactly
shell game.
That's exactly what you're talking about, though. You just didn't want to use that word.
I was thinking about that at all. Innocent-minded, not so much. Yeah.
Okay, anyway. What's the thing today? Because we're already 2.5 minutes in.
Okay, so the thing today is really, really simple. And this sounds really, really odd. But we would like you to schedule sex. We would like you to schedule sex maybe at least once a week. And there are scientific studies that have been done that couples that have sex at least once a week, your literally happiness is increased a lot. Now, if you have sex every day, it doesn't compound. There is a limit to how much sex and happiness give you. But usually about once a week is a pretty good time. So I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, I don't want to schedule sex. It takes all the romance out of it. It's no spontaneity. And then, here's my big question. If you're not being spontaneous now, how long's it been? If it's been more than a week, you suck.
You
schedule sex.
Schedule it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we listen to other podcasts, other marriage couples, and one other marriage podcast, they said 3 days, he has to initiate at least once.
Once out of those 3 days.
And she can never say no any of the times that he initiates, and then she gets 3 days to initiate, and he can't say no. I'm too tired. I've just worked out.
Usually once out of those 3 days.
Usually once.
She can't say no. I'm going to ask her 5 times a day.
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's selfish. That's selfish.
I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm a selfish lover. Yeah. All right. Anyways. So
wow.
But that would in case you would have sex twice a week. But the thing is with that, and what I really liked about that time frame is the fact that the man has to be creative and initiate sex in a way that their spouse would like to, and then the other spouse would initiate sex in the way that their spouse would. So it gives a lot of room for creativity. Now, if you're not in a place where you can have sex twice a week, then switching that to every other... Yeah, what's wrong with you? Maybe you need to go to weed police. Stop me trying to thought.
Sorry.
Thanks.
But no,
but make sure that you switch the initiation, because
that's the point.
In our relationship, I am my love language is physical touch. I am the aggressor. I am the passionate one. I want to have sex every other day. So that doesn't leave room for her to initiate at all. And part of the issues that we have is that there comes times where I don't feel like I'm loved. Like, I don't feel like I'm pursued.
Pursued.
And men, we really want to feel pursued. We want the person that we're with to really pursue us. And deep down inside, that feels great. But the problem with me is that I am so aggressive, I never give her room to pursue. And so that's just something that we work on. And if you're the same way with me, that you're just hypersexual, then you will go through that up and down of not being pursued. So that's why I'm saying every other week, if you switch it to where the other person has to initiate, it gives them a chance to pursue you personally in a way that you like. And it's really fun with creativity stuff. So like you could do a couples massage and then go home and have sex. You could just go out to dinner. You can go for a walk. It doesn't really matter, but you are intently trying to get the other person in the mood, which then brings up conversations of how do I get you in the mood? Rather than it's really Friday, important. Let's have sex.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Creative ways to get your partner in the mood. Because we've talked to people that complain that, well, the spouse will just be a jerk all week because they know they're going to get it. Okay, that's not a loving,
stupid way around.
Unselfish way to be a partner. And if you're going to be a jerk and just think you're going to get sex, what kind of sex do you think that's going to be?
It's going to be bump on the log sex. Nobody likes bump on the log sex. Everyone likes interactive, full VR sex. Interactive.
But also
VR. But that's the sex that we all desire and want. We want both people to be fully there. Not one person doing the dishes in their head because they just want to get this over with. And so that's what makes scheduling sex really important, is that one, you can withhold and bring up excitement, and at the same time the person that's going to be initiating needs to really find out what their partner is into. So if I come,
you're talking a lot.
I'm sorry.
You are like just blah, 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 blah. Like I have things in my head that I've completely forgotten about.
Too much caffeine.
You're not shutting up.
Oh.
Go on.
Oh. So for example, if there's a whole bunch of candles and she's in bed with lingerie and that's a thing that I like, then great. Now for her, if I'm in bed in lingerie with a whole bunch of candles, that might not work for her. But if I spent the entire day cleaning the entire house and making sure that it's spotless, that might do the trick.
And I noticed that the time is coming when he has washed the windows. I've noticed.
I washed one window.
Emptied the dishwasher.
We have a ton of windows.
He hasn't cleaned the kitchen for a few days, and now he's really cleaning the kitchen. But I also think, I forget what I was going to say.
I have that effect on people. Really? I forgot what I was going to say.
You might as well talk until I can remember it again.
2 minutes of silence. We're waiting. Maybe it will come into your brain. But you kind of get the idea. This has to come with a conversation of, hey, when is the best night to have sex? Especially if little kids.
Oh, I remember!
A babysitter, a hotel, a getaway. She remembered. I'll shut up.
Okay. But I also hear people going, I don't have time to do that. That is a lot of work. Think about what you're saying. My marriage is a lot of work, and I don't have time for that. But I have time to go to the grocery store, I have time to read a book, to watch a movie, to play video games, to take my kids to and from school, to do this, to do that.
To troll Instagram, or Snapchat, or TikTok,
or social
or
media,
Facebook.
Or all these different things. But taking a few minutes to initiate with my husband or my wife is just, it's too much work. Really?
Welcome to marriage. It's a lot of work.
This is the primary relationship. Yeah. This is the primary thing in your life. That should be something that tops the list of all those things.
Jump in the shower together.
People need to be fed. Obviously, the kitchen needs to be cleaned at some point. Kids need to be picked up from school.
No one's getting food until I get sex.
I understand all of that. But when you put all of those other things ahead of your marriage, your spouse, the other person that you have vowed to love and cherish for the rest of your life, every day of your life, what does that say to them? You are not prioritizing them. How does that make you feel when your spouse does not prioritize you? Everything else is now more important. Does that make you feel good? Well, scheduling time for sex, whatever works for you, whether it's every other day, whether it's every Friday, whether it's Saturday mornings, because that's the time you both have off and you can get together, whether it's
Sunday before
every
church,
2 or 3 days, whatever it is,
or Sunday after
find
church.
something that works and try to stick with it. Give it at least a month.
A whole entire month.
And stick with it.
And that's really important.
We've tried a few different things that some worked, some didn't.
Some failed
find
horribly.
a pattern that really works for us, but it keeps us consistent where we're not going weeks with, like, now it's just awkward because we're like, now what do we do?
So it's every Monday after the video
I don't
we
want to
have sex.
initiate. You know, whatever. Talk about it and see what that brings up. You know, listen to a podcast together on the way to work.
Listen to our podcast.
Communicate together when you come home.
On iTunes.
Yeah. Anyway, now I've talked for a long time. So that's our biggest thing is schedule sex. However that works for you, try to get it in.
And
unintended, but not intended.
And the thing is that it's your marriage. Have fun with it. You don't have to take any kind of...
we have to have sex. You get to have sex.
Yeah. That's the perspective you need to change around. If you're thinking have to, you get to.
How fun is that? Remember when that was a really, really, really fun thing that you got to do?
Well,
you still can. You still get to do it.
It can be fun, and that'll be, series 3 to 400. Anyway, so...
stay tuned.
Understand that scheduling sex it's your marriage plan. It's not anyone else's marriage plan. So this is something that you kind of have to work through to figure out what works for you. Like, for example, if every third week is actually working for you, then I'm not going to push you to do it once a week. It's not going to work for me. But if that works for you, then great.
For me either.
You know what I mean? If you both feel cherished and sought after and pursued, then if that works for you, then fine. But the point of it is
things change.
She needs to pursue and I need to pursue, and and that really helps the circle of intimacy.
Yeah.
Because when somebody wants to be around with you and wants you to make you feel good and spends time thinking about how to get you in the mood, that's a huge part of intimacy that we don't talk about. It's almost the hidden part. We always talk about the after effect of sex or kissing or hugging, but there's all of that pre-game stuff that happens of, what are you into? What do you like? Do you want a massage? Do you want to do a couple massages? Do you like it when people touch you? Do you like it when I touch you? You have all of those wonderful conversations and that you get to know each other more. So then it just really just becomes second nature.
Yeah.
Like, there are times I come home and there's underwear on the steps. Awesome.
Sorry. Oops. Oh, you mean on purpose?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
We're not doing laundry.
Out of the laundry basket.
We're not doing laundry.
All right, we're past our time, so we should wrap this up. I know.
We have time. People are driving home and listen to this. Anyways, so schedule and work on it. This isn't a thing to just try one time and put it down. This is like working out and building some biceps, is that you have to consistently do it and try things that work for you. And you will find the magical thing of, if it's every other day and that works for you, then great. But at least you're being intimate more than you are now, hoping that it's going to happen. And then what the greater side effect is, if one of you is watching porn but sex is scheduled, then watching porn usually will drop, because then there is a quote-unquote guarantee that it's going to happen, rather than one day it just might happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's something to think about. All right. So, again, we're on iTunes at iTunes Podcast. You could search for us at HaveAMarriage. We do have a promo code at getdatebox.com, which they were purchased by another company. I keep forgetting their name. But the promo code is HaveAMarriage50 for 50% off of your first date. They have inside dates and outside dates. Go on a date and talk about scheduling sex. And then talk about how to get each other in a mood. And again, this is all practical things. It's not just make me feel good. No, that's stupid way around. Very, very practical. Do the dishes. And that might just work for you.
Works for me.
All right. I got to go do the dishes.